I'm back. What you didn't hear me saying was, since this is a new video, new live stream, all readings and divinations are for the purposes of entertainment only. My name is Annalisa. This is my spiritual friend. It is Sunday, April 4th, 18th. See, I did it again. I'm not a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist, a financial advisor, or a doctor, lawyer, therapist, or financial advisor. If you need one of those, please seek those. Hi, Caramel Apple. Lightning Spark, I was thinking about you this week. I was like, is he going to come back and tell us? Is he going to come back and tell us? Did she say yes? So I'll look and check all the PayPal. But so what I was saying is sort of like learn to trust your own intuition. So the 777 was 4 sevens said, those that were against you will now be for you. Blah, 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 blah. If you're seeing this, you're meant to see this crap. So what I hope is that on your journey towards healing and sort of stepping in your own power and owning your own stuff, that you'll get to the point where it won't really matter if those that were against you are actually for you. So I used to think, by virtue of what I do, not a lot of people believe in it or think it's got value or whatever their belief system is. They're like, that's kind of weird, or you're a fucking retard, you're fucking crazy, or whatever it is, right? So like whatever their belief system is around what I do. And for a while I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to show them. And then, you have that attitude of like, I'll show them how good I am or whatever, successful. And then I finally got to a point where I'm like, whatever. And I hope you get to that point of whatever, like, who cares if they support me or not? And who cares, because I believe enough in myself that I don't need to have that outside validation and commendation or whatever you want to say. So, all right, TH, I'll look for yours. Or Butterfly Diaries, I'll look for yours. So I sort of wanted to talk about that because it like really struck me. And I thought, I know that if I'm seeing this and they're sort of flagging it for me, that this is something that other people go through. That whatever it is your business is that you're building, you'll hear actors talk about like, my family thought I was crazy and now I'm making millions of dollars. And so they think it's okay now because I could buy them a house. Or people who are, in some sort of entertainment industry, or people who want to not do traditional university and do a trade school and whatever it is. I know I got an associate's degree in nursing, and my family was like, you're not a real nurse. Like they didn't think I was an RN. They thought I was an LPN or an LVN. I don't think LPNs exist anymore. And I'm not even sure LPNs exist anymore, but like, it wasn't as valid to them, whatever they're thinking. So you just sometimes just have to like forge ahead and do your own thing and not worry about what others are saying. Please like and subscribe. I'm big on manifesting. And so I sort of think that's like a big part of manifesting, and like not using that in your thought process to matter, like so that it helps you forge ahead and draw into your life the things that and experiences you're wanting. I've seen this technique before, but for some reason I watched this video and it really sort of resonated this time, where when you're manifesting, using that "isn't it wonderful" phrase and then just saying whatever afterwards, instead of having to necessarily have the vision for what you want or the feelings around it. And I also found that when I was doing it, it sort of put me into like a lighter heart space, and it just felt really easy to kind of go, "Isn't it wonderful?" Like it automatically put me vibrationally higher. So it might be something for you guys to try. It's just sort of like, isn't it wonderful that I'm so successful? Isn't it wonderful that I have the dream house that I wanted? Whatever it is that you want, or the relationship, or that we're really happy, or blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is, just try it. It's kind of an interesting thing. And last but not least, y'all know, I tell it like it is. And I went over to 7-Eleven because my daughter wanted a Roblox gift card. She wanted to use her allowance towards Roblox money. And I tried to talk to her about that, but whatever. Anyway, but if you buy the actual card instead of just doing it online, they get like this extra little thing, and they only sell it at certain places. And that like half the time it's not at, like I can never find it anywhere except for I can always find them at 7-Eleven. So I went over to 7-Eleven and I went to the town. There's one in a town over from us, and it's a more affluent area. And I walked in and there was probably 10 of these white boys, and the color is important. So this is what I'm getting. So there's 10 white kids got off their bikes. So I'm guessing they were probably sophomores in high school. And I walked around like looking for where the gift cards were. And I see this one kid like looking, and I was like, that fucker's going to steal. He's going to try. And it was a lighter. And y'all, I'm pretty sure there's no laws against buying lighters. He wasn't trying to steal cigarettes, obviously, because he can't. They're behind the counter. And I looked at him and I go, real loud. I was like, don't do that. Put that back. Don't be a chotch. Like, you don't have to steal. And I was real annoyed. I was like pretty vocal about it. And my mom, when I told my mom the story, she's like, you don't know who's going to do something. I was like, no. These are like white kids that I grew up with. Like, they have too much money. They're not going to do anything. I wasn't worried about, like, it was not a, like, plus I trust my intuition. So there's that. And my thought is, so I wanted to say it this way. You can do whatever you want. And there is no, I don't really necessarily believe in karma. And there is no, like, I just think at the end of the day, your character says a lot about you when you're going to do something when you think nobody's watching. So what are you doing when nobody's watching? And are you proud of it? Or do you feel embarrassed by it or shame with it? And if you feel embarrassed or shame with it, maybe check with yourself, because that's not your higher self working for you. So that's that. But the reason why I was saying it was a white kid is because this is a poor black man who's working behind the counter, and I guess he stepped out. He wasn't in front of the counter yet. And then he like walked in, and I had said to him after they left, I go, you should watch them when they come in here because they're taking stuff. And he didn't really say anything. He was like, okay. Maybe he doesn't care because it's 7-Eleven, or maybe he's in a really shitty spot because he's a black man. It's 10 white kids in an affluent area, and damned if he does, damned if he doesn't say something. So I did. Whatever. That's that. All right. I'm off my pedestal. I hope y'all are well. It's spring. I was researching Girl Scout projects for Friday. We're going to make some seed bombs for pollinating. And I was researching wildflower seeds. Isn't that exciting? Thanks for listening to me ramble. Oh, that Emily, that you're going to have another baby? Richard Feynman. No, who's Richard Feynman? Share away. Or is this going to be some kind of religious thing? Because if it's a religious thing, we're not here for that. So I hope they have a fun project. I picked perennials instead of annuals because, one, I want to use the remainder of the seeds to plant some difficult spots. I'm looking up whoever this Richard Feynman man is, that I can be a lazy gardener about. Because y'all, I'm trying to find the easiest things for me to do to make, to bring flowers and color and stuff. Because roses we have sawflies and also very clay. We live in a mountain reservation. So he was a theoretical physicist known for his work, the path integral formulation of quantum physics. Okay, I'll have to research him. Thank you for not being religious. Tulips are pretty, but I don't know. We have deer, a lot of wildlife. Like our ring thing goes off all the time for foxes and deer. And what else do we have? Groundhogs, raccoons, plus the feral cats. I've had some wild turkeys. I haven't seen the wild turkeys in our yard in a while. There's all kinds of stuff. I think there's been bears around too and all of that, whatever. Not in our yard. But tulips are pretty, but they'd be eaten in a heartbeat. So I have to find stuff that's like deer resistant. All right, so we have a list going. I'll look at who's paid since. I also am like loving some of the like little synchronicities and things that are happening. I thought about a client that I haven't seen in a while or heard from, and she emailed me right before this. So I thought that was kind of cool. Let me see. All right. You said TH for, I'll have to look at what your name is. I think it's Butterfly something, right? Right? TH. Okay. So I just need to look at the name so I can give it to KK. Lightning Spark. Okay. And then Caramel Apple. Okay. All right. So are we ready? Are we done with my rambling? Is everybody well? No. I want it easy. I know there's ways to protect them. I want it low maintenance. Like super, like just plant and go. So I think wildflowers are going to work best for me. I think they're really pretty too. So I don't mind wildflower gardens. And plus they're great for pollinators and all of that stuff. I really like, any kind of anything is just, okay. Okay. So add to the list, KK, Butterfly Diaries, Lightning Spark. Both of Lightning Spark has 2 as well, and Caramel. Oh, you got them. Good. Oh, I'll have to look him up then. Okay. I mean, I'll have to like do some more research on him because I'm all about always looking at. Thank you for sharing that information. I'm always, about. So, Stephanie, did I get your donation? It didn't show up yet, but that doesn't mean it won't. So I'll check back after this. If it doesn't show up here yet when I'm refreshing, yes, I did. So add Stephanie for a question. She has one. All right. So Miss Nancy, are you here? Do you want to go first? You're up. And then I had an Emily S for, I don't know if you're here. That Emily is Emily S. Emily Schneider. Has anybody been working on their manifesting? Excited about it? Had any fun stuff come up? Oh, perfect. Martin Kaiser. Okay. So Nancy, what's your question? I knew a Martin from Denmark, and I know a Martine from Mexico. But it's spelled Martin. I just feel quiet. Are you typing? I hope you're typing. What else can we talk about, ladies and gentlemen? Can you give me your daughter's first name, please? I don't know if I'm feeling your nervousness in your stomach or hers. Sarah. I have a lot of anxiety, but I also feel something here, and then I feel something pressure here, and I almost felt something weird with my vision. Like, I don't even know how to explain what it was. It was like almost like a disorientation. Does any of this resonate? Hi, Maya. I'll check in just a minute. Oh, cute. Gotta start somewhere, right? With your bunnies. Nancy, does any of this resonate for your daughter with areas that she would have issues with? And I'm saying I have a hard time because she has the same name as my niece, and my niece has a lot of health issues. So that's why I'm like, I keep getting pulled to her. So I'm just wondering. Yes, 100%. Okay. Um, so here's my question. Has she already been diagnosed and you're sort of looking for, um, um, sorry, you're sort of looking for validation of outcome, or is it like a lot of weird stuff's going on and nobody can figure out what's going on? You're pushing for a diagnosis right now. Okay. I feel like honestly, there's like several different things going on. So I'm hearing autoimmune, but I'm hearing something like, it's like a mix and a confusion of the way I'm getting this. So it's like she also having headaches and also like labile emotions, because I just feel like all of a sudden I want to cry, like, and it doesn't match. Like it's like, so yes to which? Can you just clarify? Because you're a little delayed. So when I start asking a whole bunch of stuff, sorry. You don't even have to type the whole thing out. Just like put yes, one word or whatever. Like I just need a little clarification. So I feel like I heard synapses firing wrong. So it's almost like there's something in the brain where it's not making the connection. It's like giving off different things. But then I feel like the labile emotions, and then I felt it in my chest, and it felt almost like a blood thing, right? The way like leukemia is a cancer of the blood. I'm not saying she has cancer, so don't take it that way. It's just saying like there's a blood issue. So maybe there's it's like there's a lot going on and it's not just one thing. The headaches. Okay. Has she seen a neurologist? And what about the emotional thing? Because it literally feels like I go from one end of the spectrum to the other, and I don't necessarily feel like it's something that would be bipolar. Like it almost reminds me of the way like somebody with a head injury would have, like where it's like they might laugh when they're scared, or they might like, it's like emotions not matching situations. Priya, it's not closed. I'll look in a minute to see who's donated. I noticed that I really need to sit forward more. This is like a weird observation while you're seeing me shift, because I lean back and I feel like everything looks like weird. My head looks really little and my body looks really big. It's like a funhouse mirror. Sorry, Nancy. So sometimes I need to get out of that feeling. Does any of this make sense? Like the labile emotions, like the kind of going from one to another, or emotional responses not necessarily matching situations. Sometimes it's not exactly as I'm saying it. It's just to get me to say the words or to trigger the like whatever. have they done a neural workup on her, like done an MRI or a CT? And I keep being pulled also, they're talking about the pituitary gland. It sits right behind the nose. It's there's a bone called the sella turcica, which is like literally like right behind here. And it sits right in there. Hi, Regine, welcome. I'll check while I'm waiting for you and I'm just like throwing things at you. Check the PayPal for updates. Maya, I have yours. So Maya for one. Have they done an MRI or a CT of her head? Had MRIs and everything else. Did they, but of the brain? Head, brain? And does the disorientation make sense? It literally felt like I was like, almost like did like a time jump and then like have a block of time missing. So I guess what I'm going to say is this: is it feels like it's a couple, like maybe like a blood, like an autoimmune blood thing. They're not being really clear, and then the headaches, and it feels like maybe there's some synapses firing not right, like there's some connections not being made that need to be made in the brain. It's like a couple different things going on, but I feel like to say like she's not crazy. She blacks out, so she's losing time. That's a time loss. If you're blacking out, you're losing time. It's like she's not crazy. It just feels like it might be something to look at, like look at the pituitary gland. It's so tiny, right? Maybe that it's something within that. I don't know. Or maybe it's something where she needs to have like a 24-hour, 72-hour, something like that, EEG done where they hook her up and she has like, she wears the thing and they monitor her either in the hospital or outside, whatever. There's a couple different ways that they can do it as inpatient or outpatient. It might be something where they're not capturing it in that small time frame. I don't feel, I can tell you what I feel like. I don't feel like it is. I don't feel like it's like a blood sugar issue. I don't feel like it's something in that kind of case. It feels like, so she may have some kind of autoimmune thing, but then there's the synapse is not firing right. So it might be worth just saying like going to a neurologist if you can get into the specialist and saying like, would you ever consider doing like capturing, maybe she's having some kind of seizures or something like that. I immediately, when I thought of that name, I thought of health issues. I thought of my niece who has seizures. And so it feels like something like, it might not be exactly like that, but it's like, something's not connecting the right way or something's overfiring or. Maybe they put something in, like it's almost like a pacemaker, but it's for the brain where it kind of like, that might be down the road. I don't know, but it feels like whatever it feels like it is, because that sounds scary, me saying that, whatever there is, it feels like there is an easy solution for it. It doesn't feel, well, I mean, not that that's necessarily easy, but it feels like there's a solution for it. It's not like we're never going to be able to do anything and she's just going to always have this problem and we're just at the mercy of everything. Okay, it made a lot of sense. Okay. Because it's hard when I don't have a picture. I don't know anybody. Like it literally is like, I'm seeing this, feeling this. So it's very weird. So I'm glad that it makes sense and connects. You think she has postural orthostatic tachycardic syndrome? That might be where I'm getting the chest in it and then the head. And then something not firing, right? Synapses not firing would be the brain, but I don't know. There's a little something more to it though. For whatever that is, it's a little something more to it. I don't know. So, but it feels like once they figure out what it is exactly, it's easy fix. It's not a like we're stuck and there's no solution for her. So, what I always say with people, like when it's something like this, when you go forward to it, it's not to be like, don't go to the doctor, it'll be fine. And it's not to be like, it's just to say, try not to worry about it. I know that's really easy because as mothers, we worry. I mean, I walk away from this and I worry about all of you and I try to manifest for you. Like, I don't worry for you, but I just feel bad that some of you are struggling more than others. And so I actually do like quietly try and do manifestations for you guys. So I get it. I would just say whenever I get stuff like this, I'm hot and sweaty. Okay. Just move forward and trust that, okay, so she said that there's a solution for it and it'll be okay. And I keep getting 2 to 3 months. So I don't know if it means you have an answer in 2 to 3 months or it's sort of sorted out and settled down in 2 to 3 months and things are better. But it feels like there's a significant amount of an importance on that time frame. And I would lean more towards 2 rather than out towards 3. So just try and hold that there is a solution, that it will help her and that she will be okay and be able to lead a normal life. It's not, there might need to be slight adjustments here and there, but it would be okay. I'd have to look up. I don't know that syndrome. There's so many syndromes. So many syndromes. And some syndromes are rare enough that they don't even have names. They just go by the defect on the chromosome. I'll look it up and see if it resonates. Maybe if you come back next week, I could say like, yay or nay. It doesn't, because I just don't. Sometimes I have to read about it and go, yeah, that sort of feels like what I was getting, or no, it doesn't. And just for the sake of time and brevity. Okay. Emily Schneider, are you here? I hope that's helpful, Nancy. I hope it at least gives you some sort of peace of mind. Emily Schneider, are you here? Okay, I'll check Priya. All right, so we need to add a couple. Add Regine for a question. Priya, are your initials RD? Okay, gotcha. So, okay. Emily Schneider, are you here? Right. Emily Schneider, are you here? I have a whole list. You're all in a certain order. I did a reading for a woman once and she's like, oh, you should check out so-and-so. And y'all, I do my readings on like a dry erase board. I write all my notes down on a dry erase board because I used to use like paper and I have like a diagram. I'll show you. So I do I do a head to toe energetic assessment and I went to doing it like a dry erase type thing because I was like feeling like I was harming the environment and by with all this paper. So I went to that and then like she told me the name and I dry erased it off. But so then I was just thinking about that with my list here on paper. Anyway, hello. Can Emily Schneider, if you're not here, Deborah, you're next. Laura H, you can write yours. Devry, you can write yours. Y'all, the only people that comment on my videos are spammers. Isn't that awesome? Hi, Deborah. Okay, hello. Did I need a specific question or just anything in general? I can do a general reading if you'd like. Your health, I can focus on that. It may be an hour, Priya. If you want to, you can try. That's fine. It's up to you. You can check back in. KK keeps the list going so you can see where you're at. It's okay. Of course, I'd like you to stay, but I can't make you. Okay, so Deborah wants a general reading and we'll look at her health. Can you guys hear my kids? Can you just validate if you have allergy issues with a little bit of postnasal drip and or a cold right now, but it feels more allergy related and feels seasonal allergy and due to pollen outside versus being dust or dander or mold inside? Oh, it's silent. Okay, good. Phew. Okay, so now I can just, now that I know that I'm connecting in, I can. Are you also prone to eczema? Because I got led to eczema and I feel like that's more related to diet, and I would actually connect that directly with dairy for you. Maybe a little bit of wheat, like irritation, but it's not like, I feel like wheat makes you bloated, but it's not like anything that would be like, you have gluten issues. A lot of people like to say they have gluten issues. Wheat by nature does sort of bloat you. That's just a natural breakdown, how it breaks down in your body. But I just felt like eczema, and I was kind of led to my shoulders, and it feels like actually a dairy issue. I felt like a dry skin patchy, so it might not actually be eczema, but it just felt like a skin issue. So I'm leaving it at that. And it might be something that kind of comes up for you. If it does, I would look at dairy being the issue. I'm scanning you and I don't feel any major stuff for you. It feels like whatever it was, it would be like temporary, transitional, not something that, like I feel like kind of bloated in my gut area, but I don't feel like, to me, I'm like, that might be more related to hormonal shifts rather than being something where I have chronic IBS or something like that. Um, I feel a little short of breath, a little bit like tight in my back muscles. But again, this feels like something that I might have had post bronchitis. Um, it wouldn't hurt to be a little bit more active. Maybe do some yoga to like loosen up your intercostal muscles in those spaces. It will help you actually breathe better. You just learned about wheat with you. Okay. All true. Okay. So this is an interesting one, but this isn't really health related. It's sort of like, I just feel very disconnected from my body. I feel like I have almost an out of body feeling. Like, um, do you ever astral project? If you know what that is, like where you have like out of body experiences, or where you feel like when you, I mean, you can do it when you sleep. It's a lot of times when people are doing it, but it just feels like I'm very disconnected. So it's like, you know how to do it, but you don't do it. You were just on a low FODMAP diet. I'm not a super big fan of these like general cut out all of this crazy stuff things, because I just feel like they're too one size fits all. And I feel like in general, we are not one size fits all. We are very individual, obviously. Your dreams seem real or come true. So part of the feeling real is the astral projecting kind of thing, like where you can, it's not just about astral projecting into other current spaces. It's about like going across planes of existence and times and stuff like that. So I just feel like it would really benefit you to kind of be, it just feels like so you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but it feels like very much like not an integration of my mind, body, spirit. I feel like I'm this, I'm physical here, I'm spiritual here, and not finding a connection and understanding of how integrated it is. So, like, it just feels very like I am very separate from my body instead of recognizing the integration, which sounds weird, I know, but that's just the feeling I get, and there's no other way for me to explain it. So it feels like if you perhaps did some quick breathing exercises where you're sort of really feeling the air as you inhale, um, fill your lungs, like pay attention to how all the different feelings of your skin stretching and expanding. And then as you exhale, what it feels like as all the air comes out, sort of doing that a few times actually does ground you a bit and brings you back into the awareness of your body. Visualizing tree roots coming up, wrapping around your legs and kind of holding you down into the earth. I do a little white light before I do a reading where you visualize a white light coming down through your head. I have to, with my daughters, say every single body part because they want to make sure you hit it all and you can't just go from one to the other. So we do like, head, neck, shoulders, elbows, wrists. Like I just say down your arms and not your fingertips with my clients. But the light will go down. And the important part is that as it hits your feet and goes out the bottom of your feet, I always say deep down into Mother Earth, where she holds you balanced between heaven and earth. So you're not necessarily fully grounded, especially if you're spiritual. You get into this weird mindset where if you want to have these spiritual experiences and be connected in, you're worried about being too grounded that you won't connect in. But the reality is even when you're balanced, you're grounded. You're all connected in. It's all one thing. So like, and I always try to tell people like, like they're like, a lot of people are like, oh, you got to meditate, especially to learn how to do this stuff. And you really don't. And it's not that I'm like against meditation. I'm just sort of, I don't think there's a hard and fast rule to connecting into your intuition. I don't think there's a hard and fast rule to how you have to do it. Or that you're doing it wrong. And I think people get caught up that they're doing meditation wrong. So I sort of am like, and truthfully, like I am still psychic and I do not meditate every day. I don't even come close to meditating every day. I don't meditate. I meditate maybe once a month. And it's mostly because I'm just busy but what I do is I pay attention. I'm really aware of my thoughts and where they're processing. So that is in the form of itself meditation, because whenever somebody says mindfulness meditation, it's sort of redundant because that is what meditation is, being mindful. So you don't really have to do it in this traditional form of sitting. The other thing is practice and also like be bold and see what happens. Like look at all the stuff that I'm giving you. When I was doing Nancy's, I'm like, I don't know, I'm feeling all of this stuff. Sometimes I ask for a validation because I want to make sure I'm connecting in with what you're getting versus the other numbers of people that are on here. There's not many, but you're here, right? Please like and subscribe. But it doesn't have to be this like whatever guru-y idea of what people say it is, basically is what I'm saying. You just practice builds your connection, practice trusting it. And I know that sounds strange, but like some of us have a really hard time trusting ourselves and what we're getting. And we're always looking outside of us for validation. And you really don't need to do that. So, and I'm also big on manifestation. So if you see, I'm going to go back and forth between being hot and cold. I mean, the human experience is sort of meant to be scattered and weird and wonky, and that's like part of the learning process. So you don't have to be mindful all the time. I think if you're really focused on like trusting manifestation and how you're like creating your own experience, then you sort of need to be mindful of your thoughts, because it's not so much like, oh my God, I'm going to create the wrong thing. And if it's sort of like like learning the connections of like how I created this. Okay, well, how can I not uncreate it, but how can I do better next time? And how do I shift that belief system then to not continue to create the things that I don't want? Sort of the way I look at it, but not as in a sense of like, you have to always be positive, because that's like weird and toxic in and of itself. Balance. That's all we got. I hope I can leave you with that. Let's see. Laura H. wrote yours. You said, may I get a career message? Will I finally find stability? And a general message as well. So you will, but you also need to shift your thought process as far as stability goes, because I feel like you're so focused on things not being stable and so focused on not having that it's sort of like keeping it at bay. They're showing me like I filled out as if I was you, I've written down what I want to manifest, but then I'm so focused on it not happening that it's like not happening. They're like, okay, like, you keep putting us back in line. You keep putting it back in line because you're so like, it's like when you wait in line at the store and you're like, well, I only have one thing. So like, oh, you can go ahead of me and you can go ahead of me and you can go ahead of me because I'm focusing on that I only have one thing. You can go ahead of me, and you're letting all of this stuff go ahead, and you're like still waiting in line because you only have one thing. So stop focusing that you have one thing and just keep moving and do other things so that you aren't, they're also saying be open to it not being exactly what you think you're supposed to be doing or what your specialty is, because it feels like something's coming, but it's going to be slightly outside of your comfort zone or slightly outside of your wheelhouse, but it's actually going to end up being exactly what you're manifesting. Like, I feel like having more fun and enjoying what you do and making more money, but it's like I have to be slightly outside of. So it might be whoever hires you is a startup, and so it's like perfect for walking in with not a whole lot of experience because there's room for growth, and it's like a more fun environment, a more laid back environment, and also they're happy to train because it is new, so they kind of want people to do like follow their vision. And because you don't have this other idea of the way it should be, you're sort of open to like learning it their way. So instead of saying it's hard for me to switch to a positive mindset, brainwash yourself, I easily adapt. I easily see the possibility in life. I always see that there's opportunity awaiting, and I trust that it's always coming to me. Opportunities are always presenting themselves to me. I watched this video and it was really great. And I thought it was and it was about manifesting, but I think it's really good to apply it in all areas. So they were talking about manifesting. It was Joseph Alay and this other woman did a joint thing. And I don't know if it was that video that I watched or one of her other ones, but she said this and I thought this is so brilliant, right? She was talking about manifesting, like if you're manifesting a specific person or anything really, right? Or like a job or a boss or whatever, instead of assuming, like you can assume all kinds of things, right? And the reality is yes, manifestation is make believe and imagination, but you're doing that already when you're thinking the negative aspect of it, right? So you're already thinking, so like if you're, say it's a specific person, right? So you would imagine you can either imagine, oh, they don't really like me, or they think I'm annoying, or they must think pick any negative attribute, right? But you can easily, and you can't validate that. You don't know that they think those things. And maybe because you're thinking those things, you're creating it, right? But you can also easily think they think I'm so awesome and funny, and they really like hanging out with me, and they blah, 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 fill in any positive attributes. You're making assumptions and make believe and pretend in both situations. Why not pick the positive one? Why not just assume you're making believe that nothing's ever going to come for you. You don't know that. You have no, you don't have the playbook for those things. It's not like Back to the Future, was it 2, where what's his name comes back with a scorebook, the book of all the games and stuff. whatever, I can't talk. I'm not a sports person. I mean, I like whatever, but I don't follow any sports at all. It's just, they're fun to watch. It's fun to be around, but I'm not like, I don't know. I'm sure I've seen basketball players when I lived in Hoboken, and I was like, oh, he's really tall. He's probably a basketball player, but like wouldn't know who he was to save my life. Anywho, so my point being is you can make up a lot of shit. Why not go with the positive stuff, right? So just assume that the universe is bringing this to you, and you can easily think I'm just as crazy to think that it'll never come than to think that it will come. So why not just tell your ego to shut the F up and assume that it's coming. Assume that the good stuff is coming. Know that it's coming. Know that that's what manifestation is. It's coming. It's here. I know this is here. I don't worry about it. It's easy to do both. Why not pick the one that like is sparkly and wonderful? That's my take on it. Anyways, I thought it was a really brilliant and such a simple concept and so obvious. And it's funny that we don't think of these things on our own. That's me. Okay, so then that's why I can't, like, I feel like it is soon, but it feels like you really need to like stop allowing everybody to like stop focusing on the only one thing, and then, right. Okay, and then the general message. That's sort of running into your general message. I did this reading yesterday for someone who it was a reading I was not looking forward to, because it was not like, it was on a very heavy subject, and I don't want to give too much away because I just feel like, privacy and everything else, but it was on a pretty heavy subject, and it was really heartbreaking and really beautiful at the same time. Like I sat down, I don't walk into the reading, but I walked into the reading, you know what I mean? And I was already like, I cried in the shower before I did the reading. I was very like, I was having a really hard time knowing that I was going to have to do this reading. And it was interesting because I say this, I don't necessarily give you all of these like profound things that are going to happen. I'm oftentimes validating what you already know, what your own intuition already knows. But I was telling her these things. I said, well, you know this. And then, kind of talking to her about like, if you offer people the room to give you grace, they will. If you offer, like, if you just trust that people are going to understand and respect your need for whatever you need, that they will. I don't know why I'm rambling into this one, but the sense is I'm not always giving you guys these really profound things. I'm probably already telling you the things that you know. Like, I might email even KK and be like, hey, and she'll go, just manifest it. Duh. But it's like, or I'll say that to other people who I know are manifestors, and they're like, oh yeah, like they might ask about something that's going to come up. I'm like, just manifest this. Like, it seems so obvious, and sometimes we miss the obvious because it's staring us right in the face. So it's like, it might seem silly, but is it any more crazy to constantly assume the negative and continue to think that about it? And that's not toxic. I don't always have to be positive. I allow myself the room to be angry and upset or whatever, or not like me. But I also realize that some stuff is a choice. Honestly, most stuff, everything kind of is a choice. So let's see what else they want to tell you, Miss Laura. This just came to me, so I think that this is like important for some reason for you. So they're sort of talking about, and this was like such a quick little, and I'll tell you what it was that they showed me to give you my language in order to get to this message, because I think that's kind of cool too. There's a lot of things in life that would be easy to do to make the money quicker. But they're sort of saying, make sure you stick to who you are and what you really believe and your core values, and know that the money is still coming. It just may come a little bit slower, or not necessarily as easy, but that it's coming, and it's coming in spades. And the way that they showed me this is, I look and I could easily start like pick up tarot and like flip some cards and just read like that because I don't know, people just gravitate towards tarot. Like if you look at some of these tarot readers on here, they have hundreds of thousands of followers and hundreds of thousands of views, and it's an easy get, and it would be an easy way to make money, and it'd be easy pull for clients for me. But I keep getting like, it's like that, like, that's not the way to go for you. Like, that's not where your value and where your gift lies. Like, it's not what you should be doing. So that's why I don't do the easy get, the easy, like the political readings or whatever. First of all, it's not really fun for me. And second, it's not where I'm supposed to be. So it just feels like whatever you're doing, Laura, you need to be making sure that you're not compromising just because it'd be the easy get. It feels like just hang tight, trust that it's coming. It's all coming. It's going to flourish. They're showing me like gold wheat, which to me means getting the money. It's coming in, it's rolling in. That your harvest is coming. Just trust that, like, just trust who you are and what you're doing. I'm going to leave you with that. Emily Schneider, are you here? I'm going to keep reminding you. Maybe I need to send her an email. Remind her I'm live right now. Devry, you're up. Allie, you're up. So stop looking for your place in life to be a place in life or a goal or this or that. It's this and that, because it really isn't. Like, that's the one thing that it took me a long time to figure out, that it wasn't like, because I'd be like, well, what am I supposed to do with this gift? Like, and it wasn't really about, like, I just had to like keep moving and putting one foot in front of the other, and things are sort of falling into place, but it's still not about like what exactly I'm going to do with it. I'm like, well, I'll just try this today. And this is where I feel pulled to do this today. And it's not so much about this thing. And I've said this before on here, and I'll say it again. There isn't one purpose that you have here on earth. And I don't know who started that idea or sold it as a, like, find your purpose. Like, fuck that noise. I'm trying not to say fuck so much, but like, I just feel like that's like what needs to be said here. Fuck that noise. Because you don't have one purpose in life. Your reason for being is every single experience that you're having as a human. And if you can embrace that, it sort of takes the weight off and the pressure off to be something or anything, just to like absorb it all. I just want to see if, you know what? I'm going to message this person that paid to make sure that she knows that I'm online. I can always give her the money back, but she's been a client of mine for several years. So you can add Wendy to the list. Please, KK. And, you know, sometimes with these things that I'm talking about, they're really for everybody. It's not just an individual. There's a reason that you come to this particular day and get and decide to be a part of this particular thing. So I just wanted to remind you of that too. Oh, shitty bang bang. Fuck. Well, maybe it's not meant to be. I'll figure it out. Hang on. me send it from here. So yeah, that's that. All right. Sorry, guys. I know maybe I shouldn't be sending this, but I just feel like. Okay. I don't, there's a lag in the chat room. So Devry, you're up. Okay. Apparently the gods of YouTube wanted me to take the time to email that. Oh, I don't know what's with the chat. Why is it so slow? Devry, are you here? Allie, KK, Butterfly Diaries. Anybody wants to add any questions, comments, concerns? There you are. Devry wants a general. Why? Oh, this is so weird that it's, thank you, Allie. Allie, if you want to start typing your questions. Devry. Priya, you're not up in line, so hang on, okay? Devry, so what I keep feeling, I want to go back to the question that you asked the other day. It feels like that it is going to take a little while to solve. It feels like having to file one thing and then sort of like a back and forth and having to go cross-reference and all this other stuff in order to sort it out. I think that it just takes more time for the paperwork than it is about finding the problem and realizing that, yes, in fact, it wasn't you that filed it, because there's something where it's like, oh, it wasn't quite the right information, where there's like a glitch where they'll see like it's obvious that it wasn't the thing, but it does feel like it takes a while of going back and forth with paperwork to figure out that that one's the false one and this one's the real one. I feel like you'll get a stimulus check, but I feel like you don't need to worry about I don't know if it's like one's the one in unemployment, because I feel like you'll have something come in where it's not an issue there. They're also making me feel like you're in your head too much, like you're mulling over things a lot in your head, and not to worry so much, that just to like let things go. And it feels like needing to find things to just keep you busy so that you're not spending so much time worrying or being concerned. And it's not like anything like go out and join a club. It's like go for a walk, just find stuff to keep you busy, like busy work around the house, cleaning constantly, like whatever it is. It just feels like just find stuff to keep you busy, to kind of keep you out of your head. And that it's okay to let your guard down. Like, does that make sense? Are you okay with that? Allie, you said, I'm curious why I haven't found love all this time. It's because I don't put myself out there. Okay. You're welcome, Devry. Your college is not going to kick you out because you're not doing so well, but I do feel like you need to go to somebody and kind of talk to them about the situation with how you've been feeling, so that there's an understanding. So it isn't just like after the fact that there's an issue. They won't kick you out. They will make adjustments for you, but you need to go to like I don't know, the guy, I don't know, the counselors or the dean or whoever it is in your school that you would talk to. And also really keep in contact with your professors. I feel like even just getting a tutor would be enough, but it just feels like you're sort of like shooting yourself in your own foot by not being open and talking about the things. It's like, I don't want anybody to know. It's like, but like they see your grades or whatever. So it's like, if you just say like, if you're just open, like, hey, I've been struggling, they'll say like, work with this person, or let's do this, like, let's make adjustments. You having a meeting with your advisor. I just feel like, and being really open with your professors, like about what's going on, is really like the best thing that you could do. And they will make adjustments for you, but I don't feel like they'll put you on School Pro or anything like that. They don't like just, usually if you're failing or doing poor, they put you on scholastic probation first before they actually kick you out. They don't just like kick you to the curb. And no, I was never on scholastic probation. If anybody wants to know how I know that, it's not because I was on it. And I was never on the honor roll either. So let's just be real. I just did okay. Don't feel ashamed. Like, it's just so silly. And if anything, they'll understand that it was COVID. So please don't feel ashamed. It's such a silly thing to be ashamed about. It's such a silly standard to hold yourself up. And you're really going to end up shooting yourself in the foot by not just saying like, this is what's going on. This is where I'm at. And, I either need help or I need some grace, or what can we do to help me get past this? Because I want to do well. I want to have my degree. Take the initiative. Too many times people just sit back and like, because it's like when I worked in the ER and people would come in, they're like, well, I didn't want to put anybody out. Like, you're having a fucking heart attack. Call an ambulance. You need oxygen. You need aspirin. You need access to an AED. Like, you need these things. Like, it's not putting anybody out. Like, or when people go, I'm not feeling well, but it's the middle of the night. I'm like, they're doctors. There's somebody on call. Just call. It's okay. Like, they got into that business knowing that. Like, you're not an inconvenience. Your professors got into the business knowing some people are going to struggle and need a little bit more help, but I don't know unless they come to me. Like, your professors may not know if you're struggling because you're just being a lazy piece of crap and not putting the work in for your effort, you're partying too much, you're doing whatever, or because you're truly struggling and you need help. And they won't know that unless you say, I need help. They can't help you if you don't tell them. So stop. You're not an inconvenience. If you're eager to learn, they want to teach you. My mom was a teacher. My grandmother was a professor. They want to do these things. So like, let them. Tell them. That's what they're there for. I'm sure there are people who could help you tutor and help you get through this, but like, you need to call in and say, I need the team, rather than just drowning on your own. Okay? You're not like, I think one of the things I had to learn as a nurse was how to ask for help. I've always been extremely independent. My mom worked all the time. I basically raised myself. I've been an extremely independent and responsible person, oddly responsible at a very young age. So, but I had to learn as a nurse that I had to ask for help, or I was going to drown and my patients were going to suffer for it. So like, you're going to suffer if you don't ask for help. Okay. But I don't see you getting kicked out, but I do see like, you need to do that. And that was maybe a mom moment there, but, what was the other one you asked? Oh, and yeah, you're not really putting yourself out there. So, okay, this is sort of another mom moment, and maybe it's a psychic in me too, but do you really need a relationship right now? Like, focus on you. Focus on getting through school. Just get through this year and like healing yourself and doing that, and then bring on the whole mess of a relationship. Because remember, when you bring on, like, yes, you have love and all the feels and all of that good stuff, but you also, like, they have stuff too. And if they haven't dealt with it and you sort of haven't dealt with your stuff, then you're going to be like worried about that and not like focused on you, and like just focus on you right now. Um, Love will come, but I feel like it's not going to happen anytime soon. But it's also like you sort of have to be ready to put yourself out there, and you aren't, and you haven't. Like, listen to me. I so get that. Like, I dated guys in college, but it was never like anything really serious. And I was like super focused on me. In fact, I broke up with one guy because I was like, listen, I'm not staying in Wisconsin. I'm moving back to Texas. So, and he was like, what? I was like, yeah, no way am I staying. Like, not going to happen. And he was like all bummed, but it was like I'm focusing on me. I don't have time for like, this is fun, but, um, I worked a ton. Even one of my friends, and I didn't think I necessarily worked that much, but my friend was like, "You worked more than anybody I knew." I that was just I just had to. I had to work. I didn't have scholarships. I didn't have loans. My dad only gave me a small amount of money every month, and like I had to figure it all out. So I worked a lot. So I get it. Work and school, and like I would go out when I could, but I wasn't the 5 night a week partier. I worked nights at a point because I was working nights at the hospital. So it's going to school during the day, like it was a lot. Um so you just have to work sometimes, and you have to do what you're doing and just focus on you, and like it's fun to have that attention, but it'll come, I promise. It doesn't feel like I don't if you do the mantras, like the valuing yourself, like I'm smart enough, I enjoy my own company, I'm super awesome, like whatever ones you want to choose. If you focus on that, like, and if the other thing is like if you're in a relationship and you're not really comfortable with who you are, and you're sort of looking for somebody else to add, to take away that loneliness or that whatever, when the fuzzies and sparks and all of that fly off, those feelings are still there, and that insecurity is still there, and that not fulfillment is still there. So you need to focus on you, so that way, like, you will still feel alone in a relationship. I don't know any other way to explain it. Never feel ashamed for asking for help. Ever, ever, ever. Um, I know that there's one coming. It just doesn't feel like for maybe another year, like a big relationship for another year or 18 months. It feels out there for me, for you. And it doesn't mean that I haven't dated somebody in between there. Like maybe in 6 months I meet somebody, but it's like literally like, how are you even thinking about a relationship right now when you're just like, you've got to like keep yourself afloat, and they're not going to help you, or they can't get you through school. You have to do that. Yeah, that feeling of regardless of someone being there or not sucks. And so that really has more to do with what's inside here and what needs to be rebuilt in here, and the belief system in here that needs to be rebuilt. And then the rest of it sort of falls into place. The other thing is location does not change that. Like I've had clients where I'm like, it's not going to get better over there, because if this isn't right, then you're going to keep attracting the same stuff and it'll keep coming to you. So you sort of have to like it really is, be selfish and focus on you, and like know that you're worth getting your ass in gear and doing the school the way you want to and the way you know that you can, and getting the help that you need to do, like whatever you needed to do to finish what you're doing. And then the right stuff comes in. Like I said, there's that like little cartoon drawing, and it's of this guy and this girl, and he's like, "You're my entire world," and she's like, "Da, da, 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 you aren't my entire world. You're a planet in my universe, but I've got my friends, I've got my work, I've got this, I've got that. Like, you're just a portion of it. You aren't the whole thing." So when we're looking for someone to be our whole world and like somehow make everything better, it's like that doesn't really how it's not really how it works. All right, Miss KK, you're up. I don't know if that was really psychic. I don't feel like there's this huge area you need to fix or whatever, just more about like looking at your belief systems. Yes. Where's my rock? Here's my rock. So like immediately it was weird. I felt kind of dizzy and I felt like I'm really in my head. And there, you know that there's that Aretha Franklin song, "Daydreaming and I'm thinking of you, daydreaming and I'm thinking of you." I probably have the tune totally wrong, whatever. I'm not the diva that she is. But it feels like if you're putting out there for manifesting, just feel like this specific person, the man, the one. It feels like they're picking up the vibrations of it. Like it felt very like this. Um, so they're asking you to look at the way you're manifesting it. Like be careful, be more specific, and reach for the stars. Like I used to say that do it this way, but now I sort of think don't do it this way, where they're like this or better, like where you're putting your minimal requirements and like and it feels like step it up. Like don't just put like the like um like they're like you're not thinking broad enough and big enough, like broad enough and detailed enough. So it's like you're sort of not sweeping wide enough with options and like where it's like they may give you like if you're looking buying going and getting ice cream you can pick from all of these different flavors and then you have all of these different toppings, so you're like focusing on 3 toppings and they're like like you have all this other variety and you get this many of them, you can have unlimited toppings and you're sort of like and I just want this and they're like why not like expand a little bit more. They showed you a face, did they? You're not thinking big enough. You're not. Like, it's literally that feeling of like, I don't know, as far as that one, because the daydreaming I'm thinking of you is like, it's about like her getting away with this other person, and I don't know all the words, but it's like, come on, baby, let's get away, let's go away. Um, and it's like, so it's that feeling of like you're thinking of that, but they're like you're forgetting all this other stuff. Like you're just like, it would be like I'd be like, okay, well, I want a man, and he needs to have be financially stable, and like those are the only things and they're like, you realize like that can leave room for a lot of disaster too, right? So, um, that's like all I would say is like just like they're sort of like look like go bigger. Don't just say I want a man who's financially stable or better. They're like, really? Oh, we have a whole pot of those, but are you sure you want any of those? That's what I feel like being like broader. Look at the toppings, be a little more specific, and go broader with your ideas of the things that you want. Like include more. All they keep talking about is love to you and you're focused on work. Well, maybe that's because you're so focused on work, there's more opportunity for it. Because it's like easier to flow in. Allie said location feels like an issue for me. I feel because the majority of people around me are white. I'm Mexican American. I deal with some weird ignorant shit. Oh, I'm sure you do. I'm sorry you're scared of white people. White people scare me too. I'm not fucking with you. I'm totally serious. Like, oh, they do. I'm sorry that that's the position you're in. Like, I don't know if that's being a white apologizer, but like, it's super fucked up the way the world is, and it's been extremely eye-opening. It's not that it hasn't always been this way. It's just been extremely eye-opening for me in the last 4 years, 5 years of like how fucking racist the world is, how crazy racist people are. Some of the people are that I grew up with and like don't want to admit it and or own it. It doesn't make you evil. It makes you a part of the system that we've been in. And like we as white people all have blind spots and we've all been a part of the system. And yeah. I saw this woman, she's Japanese, and she was a stand-up comedian. I saw like a blip of her and it was really super funny. She's like, yeah, some guys come up to me, and she had a very, heavy accent, and she was just so funny. And she's like, some guys come up to me. She's from Vancouver, and they say, "Oh, I want to take you out for sushi." And he's like, she goes, that'd be like me going up to a Mexican guy and saying, "It's so funny. Oh, I want to help you pay for the wall that you didn't pay for, or build the wall that you didn't pay for," something like that. It was like I probably just like totally, but she was so funny and whatever. If you can find, I don't even know her name. I didn't even catch her name. I just like saw this like clip and I was like, oh my God, she's hilarious. I'd love to see her in person. I love stand up. Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of like crazy shit people do unknowingly. Like, I fucking hate Trump. We know I do. I mean, I watch people who are good Christians and they're like, go Trump. And I'm like, what? People I grew up with that I like, it's crazy. I've blocked a lot of them. I've unfriended a lot of them on Facebook and all those other platforms because it's just old. And I think I just think there's a lot of inherent biases that happen. And I think there's a lot of, because of like, look at when I grew up, Cops was like big. My aunt was a cop, so we watched that show Cops. And I never really processed it or realized it until I watched it as an adult, kind of looking at it from a different lens. And like, why was it always Black people? There was like, they'd be like the one crazy white guy, but there was like always Black people. They'd always go into these neighborhoods where it's like predominantly Black, predominantly poor. And like, they were always doing those arrests. Now, listen, they could have gone anywhere. They could have picked any felon. And I'm sure there was more white people involved in crime, but they weren't filming and or cutting and editing those people in. And it's then you get this idea that that's who the criminals are, right? In like this really fucked up way that they show you, those are the criminals, those are the bad guys. And I got to tell you, in my personal life, Black men have always been very polite and nice and professional, and they make loads of money. And the white men have been, professional or not, they've been the creeps and the assholes and the terrorizers. So I don't know. It's like it's all embedded, it's all ingrained, it's all underlying. So I don't think that you should say I feel bad being scared of white people. I think it's completely warranted. And I'm sorry that it is that way. Oh, I got him. I am like the Trump parade thing. I accidentally before the voting in November, I actually got into like a line of them because I turned left and I didn't realize. And like they were in the middle of their car parade going through this town. Then I was like stuck driving slow and them thinking, God, please no one see me and think that I'm a part of this. Please. I was in my friend's town. It's like a town over, like, in New Jersey, like, so in Texas, you have a town and then you drive forever and it's like open field. And then you have a town and then you drive forever and it's open field. It's the same thing in Wisconsin. But in New Jersey, it's literally like town. Like everybody's stacked on top of each other. It's the most populous state, most densely populated state in the country. So it's like every town is on top of each other. There's a street in my neighborhood that I thought was in our town. It's actually in the town over of ours. It's weird, but I was like in my friend's town, which is like not far from mine. And I was like, oh, don't see me. All right. So let's keep going. Sorry. We're really slow. I'm going slow today. Butterfly Diaries. You're up. Lightning Spark. You're up. How did it go? Did you ask her out? Caramel Apple. You could go too. Question 1. Any messages from my grandpa Ollie that passed? So this is weird. So I want you to validate this for me or not. Did he have like respiratory issues at the end? Because I see somebody with, it's almost like a rebreather mask, but I feel like he would like take it off to talk and put it back on. Like he was like this sort of non-compliant oxygen wearer. And like, I also feel like a lot of phlegm, like, yeah, like a lot of phlegm. And there's something weird about my left nostril. I feel very restricted here in my bronchioles, like almost like I'm having bronchial spasms, either a COPD or there's something spasmy there. Does this resonate? Not that you know of. Does this fit someone else that might want to come through for you? He's showing me, I feel like he has thinning hair. He wouldn't have been too tall, but I feel like I'm sitting at the end of my life. Like I don't have enough to walk around and I have a hospital bracelet on. So, or it could be, I don't know, that would be a residential bracelet maybe. He did try to pull everything off when he was in the hospital. When he was in the hospital, would he have potentially been wearing oxygen? Because he's showing me taking it off. Like rather than wearing a nasal cannula, I'm wearing a little mask. So wearing an oxygen. So this could be him then. Okay. Because I had a hospital bracelet on. And he passed in the hospital. Okay. This is him. So sometimes I will say this, even if someone isn't dying of a respiratory need, they will give them oxygen as a comfort measure towards the end of their life. It's not like to save them. It's just as a comfort measure he may have required. So the lot of like phlegm or whatever could be like a CHF thing, having like where your coronary heart, or sorry, not congestive heart failure. So your lungs start to fill up with. Did he pass with a lung issue? Is there a reason I'd feel a spasm here? He's also showing me his big ears. I feel like he would have been hard of hearing. And I also feel like English was not his first language because I feel like having, it reminds me of my great grandfather. English was not his first language. He understood fine, but he wasn't much of a talker and he'd have like still had a fairly heavy accent when he passed away. He had a stroke. Would it have affected his left arm? As I felt very drawn to my left arm. His body went into a vegetable state. So that could cause like the feeling of if you have a stroke and it affects like say one half of the body, it could have the feeling of not being able to breathe easy, feeling heavy, and also having a lot of secretions you can't clear and his whole left side of his body. Okay, I have him and I couldn't walk because I'm unable to walk. I said I was unable to walk, right? Okay. That's why he made me feel my great grandfather, my father's family is from Chicago. And my great grandfather, they lived in I always forget if it's Old Town Square or Old Town Triangle. Their house was on a block between a Buddhist temple and the Catholic church that they belonged to. And my grandfather walked. He like was my great grandfather. I didn't know my grandfather. So, and my grandfather actually died of a stroke at 61, but my great grandfather lived till he was almost 100, and he like rebuilt the back porch on us on their two, like it was a my grandparents lived downstairs and my great grandparents lived upstairs, and he rebuilt the back porch like by himself. This man was probably 6'4". He was huge. He was strong, and he could carry a side of beef by himself, like a half a cow by himself. When he stopped working for this butcher, they had to hire 3 people to like do his job. And he was just always very active, did his own laundry. He'd have a shot of whiskey at lunch every day, like very healthy, very active. I don't know why I'm going into that. A little about me. I guess the feeling I get is he's like not a man of a lot of words, like kind of like my grandfather, my great grandfather. He's just very quiet. So even if you didn't know this, I do feel like he had a lot of secretions. That does sometimes happen if you can't swallow correctly or whatever, you're going to have to be suctioned out. It's that feeling of having a lot of secretions and probably requiring a little bit of oxygen for comfort and things like that. I don't have like a huge message from him because he's not a chatty guy, and like they're not, if they weren't that way in life, they're not going to come through as being like super chatty. They're just not that way. Like they'll come through as who they are. Do you want to, KK, do you mind typing the PayPal link for her to like click with it, where it's the paypal.me/AnnalisaMSF/5, and that should work for you. Did you want to know something specifically from him? Thank you, KK. Butterfly Diaries, did you want to know something specific? I mean, he's fine. He's safe. I feel like you guys are okay with his passing. So there's not a like, and I feel like there wasn't like a lot of, not like you're okay, like, we're so happy he died, but like you understand how he died. You understand how he got where he was. You understand, like, there is no unsaid things. Like you all knew you loved each other. So it's not like, there needs to be something unsaid. He's fine. He's safe. I don't feel like he was an overly religious or spiritual person. So it's not like he's, it's just a feeling of like, he's okay. And again, he's not like a wordy guy. Like they keep referring me to my great grandfather, who would have just like when they had block parties, he would sit in his little folding chair and drink beer and just like watch everybody. And you'd be like, Pa, you need another beer? He'd be like, sure. Like he just was like with his like grandpa sunglasses and, he's just a really kind of simple guy. Like we would go upstairs and hang out with him, but he wasn't like Mr. Chatty Cathy. He just, he'd show us pictures and things, but he was just a kind of quiet guy. But he loved us. Like, and that's sort of the feeling I get about your grandfather is he loves you. He's just a quiet guy. He talked a lot. He's being quiet now. I can't make him talk. So it's just that feeling of like, nothing was left unsaid. Like, I don't feel like I don't know how another way to say it. So you knew he was proud. You knew, right? Am I right about all of that? Like there wasn't like this, let me just check payments because people are, what other question do you have? Because he's not, I can't always make them, and I can't spend 20 minutes trying to make this be, it's just, if we were doing a private reading, I'd be like, give me a picture of him and let me look at the picture. And then I like, sometimes it connects in better, but that's just all I'm getting right now. And I'm sorry if you're disappointed by that. Oh, Spiritual Seeker added one. Your initials are VL, right? Will Trent respond to your message tonight or within the next couple of days? Can I just ask you this? Do you have anxiety or like, I just feel in my, like, almost like a nervousness, they said he will, not as soon as you want and not in the way you want. So it doesn't feel like it'll happen tonight. It feels like, maybe 2 days. So it's like not with the expediency you would like and not with like the energy behind it that you would like. Like, so if you're hoping for it to be really upbeat and positive, it feels like it's still positive, but it's not like the level of like, it feels like sort of maybe being let down by the response. But it's not negative. It's just not like, the example I can give you is if you were like asking him like, hey, can we meet? And you're hoping for like, can we meet? Or I'm free these days. And you were hoping he'd pick the first day. He picks like the third day. So it's not negative. It's just not exactly what you want. Lightning Spark, if you want to go ahead and go. Caramel Apple. There you are, Emily. Oh, if your foster bird is going, can you tell me your bird's name? You got an argument for that exact reason. Okay, so I want you to do this for me. I want you to take that because I said that exact example, that exact way. apply that to your grandfather, because I do feel a little bit of disappointment there that it's like not, you're like, well, he's chatty and you're saying he's not, but it's like, I can only give you what I'm getting, right? I'm not going to lie and be like, oh yeah, that's probably it. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not going to just like make it fit you. Like, this is what I'm getting. I don't know why. Trust that oh, is your grandfather coming through for whatever reason he's coming through that way. And maybe it will make sense to your mom. I don't know. The stuff. So with him, they're sort of like, change your expectations. Like, if you give an option to be this, or this day, and he picks one of them, but it's not, you were hoping for this one, like, don't get mad. You gave him the option. Like, if you wanted to go out that day, then say, do you want to go out this day? Like, you left it open. He said this would be the best for me. And you're like, oh, like, it's not bad. Just like change, like, it's sort of like an unfair setup for yourself and for him when you do it that way. So then you're going to do the manifesting thing if he's not replying. The manifesting thing is, he's not because he doesn't like me and things are terrible. He's busy, and I know he likes me, and he wants to be able to get back to me and answer me in the time that, like, where he has time to thoughtfully respond. I know that he really likes me. These are all like the manifesting thought process where you flip it. Because remember, I said at the very beginning of this, you can either be super positive or you can be super negative. You're assuming something either way. You don't know the truth either way. So why not go with the positive one? Even when people are like, oh, I'm so sorry I didn't respond in a time, I'm like, whatever. I just assume everybody's busy and they'll get to me when they can. I don't care. Like, I have zero need for anybody to respond to me in a certain manner of time. I just assume it'll all happen and they'll get back to me when they can. So, just assume he's going to get back to me. I know he's going to get back to me. He's going to get back to me when he can respond in a really thoughtful time, because he really cares about me, and he wants me to like get the time that I deserve and that need, and like leave it at that and stop contacting him. Like, just assume that all of it's going to work out and he's going to get back to you and it'll be fine, and stop worrying about it. That makes stuff happen. I promise. Okay, and then if we can please close the list, because I'm like going slow tonight. There's been a lot of lag. Okay, Emily Shine. Oh, holiday, celebrate. Sorry, Madonna. Took some time to celebrate. I actually feel like it is. So yeah, I feel like it's going to be fine. They are. Is the bird, it's not a budgie or something, like it's a bird that could actually potentially talk, because I feel like it's probably a little bit bigger. I know that there's other animals in the home that it's going to, and it feels like the bird actually teases the other animals. Like, I know that's weird, but it's the feeling of like, if there was a cat or a dog, like the bird would be the one giving the other animal a hard time. I feel like it'll be fine. It's an English budgie, and I said, it's not a budgie. What's an English budgie? Let me look this up. Whatever it is, I feel like it's like got a funny personality and would know, like, would sort of give a hard time to the other ones. Oh, they were kind of bigger, like, than a traditional, right? Bigger version. Okay, because I'm like, I felt like it was like this big is what I felt, right? I think I said that about that size, bigger. It feels like it has a funny personality, like a little, do you know if there's other animals in the home? Because I feel like it kind of would like, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like this bird is smarter and like would like kind of give them a hard time or tease them or something. And I know that sounds weird, but that's the feeling I get, but it'll be a fine home. I actually feel like they might like when they're supervising, they might let the bird fly a little bit instead of clipping the wings and keeping it in a cage. He'll be fine. Lightning Spark, if you want to go. Caramel Apple, Stephanie, if you guys, any of you guys want to go. Will Holiday. They will be, but I feel like he'll take over like the alpha role. Like he feels like this, I don't know, like he just has this very funny personality. Lightning Spark, is Zoraida the same person as last week that you asked about? I don't think it is it? You're welcome. I didn't even know you could foster pets, like birds. Oh, it's not. Okay. So I'm going to talk to you about her personality. The way I feel like she's very, she's really smart and she's kind of in her head a lot. And she really does think before she acts and thinks before she says things. And so like sometimes you don't know what she's going to say because you're like, she's very quiet. Like she's very observant. It doesn't mean she's not, like, I feel like she's quick-witted and she'll say really funny things, but she has almost a drier sense of humor. It's not like she's just like does like stupid, dumb, kind of like silly things. It's like she's just really like, but she's like, I feel like she's super focused on her own, like her own path and her own journey. And like she's not boy crazy, right? So she's like, she has a plan. She's like kind of working towards her own goals. Okay. So it's not that, like, I don't want to be like, she doesn't like you. She's not into you that way. It's like not really that. It's like she's so focused on her stuff and herself. It's she doesn't see you that way right now. It doesn't mean that it can't change. It just feels like right now, but it's not that she doesn't see you, like it's just you. It's like she doesn't see anybody that way right now. It's like, um, I've got this stuff going on. I need to take care of it. And like that's not my plan in my plan right now. Like KK was saying, she's like all about work, but like her guides keep talking about her love. And she's like, okay, but I'm like doing this right now. It just feels like that, like sort of like my mindset is right here, right now, because I have like these goals I want to hit and I can't be distracted by anything for them. But I feel like she really values you as a person and values your relationship with her and her and stuff like that. So I don't feel like it's like, get away. I don't want anything to do with you. I just feel like it's like kind of focus. So if you can understand that and support her through that, I think that would be to your advantage. And I will leave it at that. What's your second question? Just reconciled with my boyfriend and things don't feel the same. Love is still there. I would like to know if I'm wasting my time or will things get better. Can you tell me your boyfriend's name? Just first name. I don't need a last name or birth date or any crazy stuff like that. Oh, that sucks. Surprise visit you and you weren't there. Oh, oh, bummer. That's really sweet though. So as I said, stick through it and support her through it. Because I think that that will work to your advantage, like not forcing like a, well, it's going to happen. I'm going to be romantic. I just feel like it'll really evolve naturally and like beautifully organically if you just sort of like support her through it. I know you paid for two, so that's why I'm asking you for what was your other question. I write down here, like who pays for what. Sometimes I get it wrong, but I try to get it right. All right. So um, let me do the Michael thing and then I'm going to do the general reading. I don't know why. It just feels like it'll flow better that way. If that's okay, if you don't mind being patient with me. Um, um, so there's like several things going on because I'm like, well, why? Like, should she bother? So I ask sort of different questions because it's like, sometimes I think you can get better information if you ask questions differently, or same thing when somebody does tarot reading, they're like, well, I never am. It's like really hard for me to think of questions to ask in the tarot way because I'm always like, I'm like way more specific. And so the way that I feel like I'm supposed to ask this, so I'm like, well, you can, like, the easy answer is you can manifest it, right? To be better, because some of it is your own thought process and they're sort of just mirroring what you think. Like you had this, um, because A happened, you're still sort of harboring some stuff there. But I actually feel like, and you can tell me I'm wrong. Um, okay. So is it this the case? Is it the case that, and I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing at me. So let's just clear that one up. The breakup was caused by some behaviors of your own, and he sort of was like, I'm done. And then you were like, oh fuck, I want you back. And he's not as, because I keep feeling like he's not as open. He's not as, like, I feel more reserved on his part. Is that right? And I say this because it feels like, and you're going to ask, how am I protecting this? How am I manifesting this? Like, well, so it's sort of like you're feeling the guilt for what you did, and you're assuming that he feels these ways for you, that he's not going to love me as much, he's not going to be as open, he's not going to be as warm, he's not going to forgive me because you haven't really forgiven yourself. So here's how we manifest that, right? So I forgive myself for being imperfect and inhuman, or inhuman in my responses and my reactions and what I did. I forgive myself for not knowing better. I forgive myself for unintentionally sabotaging my relationship. I forgive myself for like all that other, whatever exactly happened. I forgive myself for that. Okay. So then, because I forgive myself for reacting that way, whatever, because you did the best that you could for the tools that you have. But now you know better because you understand that whatever your reaction was can be like you can change those belief systems so you don't react that way continually, right? You can manifest it to be better. So instead of like assuming like he, like whatever, he's all reserved because of my reaction because I was such an evil, horrible person, because we're often very hard on ourselves for really silly reasons. Then you just say like, okay, so remember, we can brainwash ourselves. We can assume a lot of different things. Why not assume the positive? He loves me. And he loves me so much, he wanted to be back with me and he wanted to make this work again. And we have great communication. And I always am thoughtful in my reactions. Like, it's not like I'm never going to get mad or upset about something, but I always am able to take my time and think about things rather than just flying off the hilt. I always assume that he has your best interest at heart. I always assume that he's got your back. You have clear and healthy communication, that kind of stuff. And then it sort of like kind of rolls out and works a little bit better. Script it, write it out. Like the minute you start to have a negative thought about it, be like, oh, he's like not reacting the way I want him to. Be like, no, he's just like, he doesn't want to overwhelm me with how much he loves me. Like, just switch it around. It doesn't matter if it's crazy. It's just as crazy to assume that someone automatically hates you and they'll never forgive you. And it's just as crazy to assume I'm going to fail out of school. Like, why not just assume you're going to make it and you're going to do well? Like, why not just go the other direction? Everything's going to work out. Everything always works out in my favor. Everything falls together perfectly for me. This is all just part of the plan. This is all part of the process of coming back together and healing together and growing stronger together. This is how it works when relationships come back together. Why not just assume all of those things? That not that it's like they end up bad, but like they just take a little bit of time to kind of get back and get that like comfort level. And why not own that? Like, okay, that reaction wasn't warranted and I can do better. And now that I recognize it for what it was, I don't need to do that anymore because now I can react thoughtfully and with love. And always assume the best. Stephanie, you're up. Maya, Regine, Priya, Wendy, Virginia. That's what you need to do. Start minding your own business. You're welcome. Start minding your own business. Focus on you. So you're focused on is like the same person from before, right? You just have one thing in your basket. That's all you need. So everybody can go ahead of you because you only have one thing. So everybody can keep going because I only have one thing. So keep going ahead of me because you have a whole basket. Like I just have one thing. Like you're only focusing on what you have. So like, let everybody go ahead of me. Like, or I guess you would really let everybody go ahead of you if they have one thing and you have like a whole basket of other stuff, whatever it is. I got it wrong, but you understand. You're focusing on like not having a lot instead of going, I need to just keep moving. I need to keep going and do what I'm doing. It's coming. It's here. It's mine. This is all set up. This is divine timing. The love is coming. It's sort of that sort of thing. Whenever I hear someone is interested in me, I just freak out. Why? Why? I'm like, let me ask them that. Stop. Don't answer it. So many things. They're like, it's that thought of like, why would they like me? What's so special about me? So you need to work on your self-concept. Then it's also the like, the fear of intimacy and opening it up because there's stuff that you're like ashamed of or you're where you're sort of like, what if I'm not good enough? What if they think I'm like, it's that thing of like feeling not enough. And so, okay, so what do you need to focus on? You, self-concept. I am good enough. I am more than good enough. I am amazing. I'm wonderful. I'm smart. I'm funny. I am talented. I'm caring. I'm kind. I show up. I'm sexy. I'm hot. Like whatever all those things are, like just say them. And even if you don't believe it, again, it's not true that you're not these other things. So why not just say these things like you're not good enough. That's a lie you tell yourself. Well, why not tell yourself a positive lie? Like, why is that crazier than telling yourself the negative thing? We have a twisty, twisty world we live in. So let's like make it work to our advantage. Like you've played the game for years enough of telling yourself the negative lies. You've played that game. The world likes to play that game, but you don't have to play that game. You can switch it. No, your guides don't think you've lost it. They're like sort of going, like, we put these human ideas of how our guides are, but like they're like above, they're sort of seeing it all. And they're kind of like, well, if you struggle too much and you're way too far off your path, we will kick your ass back in. But otherwise, we know you. We know you better than you know you. So we'll just sit and wait. Oh, I forgot your second question, Lightning Spark. Thank you for reminding me. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me go back to it. A message from Spirit. Okay. Okay. Sorry, dear. Um, they said this, and then I'll talk to you about the feeling. They said you need to put the pedal to the metal in your career and go. So it feels like I almost feels like it's entrepreneurial, but then it's not. It's that feeling of like stop looking around you to make sure that you're lining up with whatever everybody else is doing or where you're supposed to be or measuring it, and just go and do your thing and like do what you're doing and put your head down. You're not, whatever you're doing right now at work doesn't feel like, and I always say that this is not like the case, but it feels like not really what you're meant to do. Like it's not your long-term career goal ideas. You're focusing on the stock market. Is it more like entrepreneurial or like a startup type thing? Like, is that the whatever you're doing for your paycheck, your whatever doesn't feel like what you're meant to be doing. So maybe it is focusing on the stock market. Maybe it is whatever it feels like. It feels more entrepreneurial or like startup type thing rather than being. Is trading in the stock market your job? Like you're a day trader, or are you just a day trader? Oh, it's not something you want to do where you're at right now. Oh, I'm so confused. Sorry. Um, you want to day trade. So it feels like then that's what you're supposed to be doing. If that's where you're like, that's what you're supposed to be doing. So just go and do it. Like stop. Like you're waiting on some perfect moment or something, and they're sort of like, just go and do what you're supposed to do. Like it'll all fall into place. February feels significant in that. So I know it's kind of far away, but it feels like maybe it'll be like that's when you look back and you're like, yeah, it really did just all fall into place. I'm not really sure, but February feels significant. Congratulations. So not saying maybe don't quit your job, because that's not going to get you through your thing. So maybe it's by February you're able to actually just be a day trader. I don't know. But it just feels like there's something significant about February, and where you're at isn't where you're meant to be. So maybe you're like, the other thing I felt is like going back to school. So it could be that maybe you go back to school and get, a degree in finance, or get your, like, I don't know, they have certifications for trading and stuff. Trying to do this while working. I don't plan on quitting anytime soon. Yeah, don't plan on quitting anytime soon. Don't do it. You're not ready yet. But I don't feel like whatever you're doing for work right now is going to be where you're at long term. It feels very temporary to me. So maybe I would say 2 to 3 years at most. I realize some of this doesn't make any sense as I'm saying it, but that's just the way it feels coming through. So sometimes you may think your intuition is more logic. You're like, well, that's logical that I wouldn't buy this or I'd buy this or whatever. But I feel like you're actually like you're second guessing your intuition as calling it logic. I don't know exactly how to put that, but there's sort of like just trust your intuition when you're making picks on stocks to buy. And it feels like don't overthink it. My husband does, like, he's got, E-Trade account. Well, I mean, it's our money, but, like, I don't have any, like, I'm not a stock person, so I'm like, "Oh, whatever." Because all I can feel around, like, stocks and gambling and, like, going to, like, those things, all I can feel is people's anxiety around it, like, their emotional connection to it. I can't get clear enough to, like, do that. Like, anything where I have to make it just doesn't work for me. Like, if someone were to logically, like, a while back, someone asked me about Bitcoin stuff, and I could go and I can look at it that way. I can separate it. If you give me a name, I can look at it and feel like where it'll go that way. But if I was just to, like, look at a whole bunch of stocks, all I can feel is, like, the emotions behind it. I'm not really great. So if you understand too that the stock market is completely emotionally driven, like, there is no logic behind it. Um, I also have never been like, people are like, "Oh, the stocks are terrible." I'm like, "No, they're not." Like, I think it's all just sort of relative. I don't know. So if you have the belief system that it's risky, then it sort of connects that way. So remember and I'm not saying, like, go throw $1 million into it, but I mean, don't throw away your money that you need to pay your bills or anything, but change that belief system to from it's risky because it's anything like the lottery and anything. It's like, um, I naturally and easily know exactly which stocks to pick. And obviously do it within logic, right? So, but I'm just trying to look at it, like, from a manifesting belief system standpoint, that it's risky sort of, like, throws you into then it is risky. But if you do it as, like, one, I'm never going to put money in that I can't afford to lose, like, because that's just stupid. Just like, oh, it's like, it's for fun. I play it. It's for fun. Like, make it fun, make it a game, make it light. Don't put that fear into it because it sort of comes, sort of like, junks it up, and then it makes it risky, and then you lose money, kind of thing. So I play this for fun. This is all money that is okay. Like, money always comes to me easily, but it's like, just it's fun. It's lighthearted. But that's just a feeling that was the very first thing they talked about, is, like, sort of go towards your career and do it. Like, stop whatever is holding you back. Like, not don't compare yourself to everybody around you. Stephanie, Maya, Regine, Priya. Let's see if I missed anybody up here. Oh, there's Stephanie. Oh, wait, I told you that. We talked already. So Maya, Regine, Priya. Stop. You're not behind anything. Behind what? What? Some strange spot that society decided, some arbitrary spot that society said, this is where you're supposed to be. Fuck that. It's not where you're supposed to be. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, and you'll be on your own path, and you do your own thing, and stop worrying about not being somewhere else. Okay, so I have Maya, Regine, Priya, Wendy, and Spiritual Seeker. And let me see. Stop paying. Barbara, you're the last one. Nobody else. Nobody else. Stop it. We're already here for 2 hours. Come on. Okay, Priya. Where's Maya? Maya, Regine, Priya. There you are, Regine. I've always had weight issues since I was 6 years old. Okay. So a lot of times you'll hear that sign, earth angels often held more weight to protect them while they're here. Oh. Did I do. Um Did something happen to you at 6? I keep feeling like, being molested. Like, that was like I asked and I was like, "Ugh." 'Cause it was this feeling of like, "Why 6? Why 6? Like, why not earlier?" Almost. I think that that was enough to sort of make yourself it's like a stuffing your emotions thing, like eating to either make yourself unattractive or less desirable, like, even if you're little and you don't understand what that is, um, that's enough, that's enough. It doesn't always have to be the act of it. So, yes, that's you, Ayama. That's you. You're the last one, okay? Okay, so it just feels like I did that as a way to protect myself, and it became like, sometimes subconsciously we do things as a way to protect ourselves, and then we keep doing it because we feel like we don't understand like other ways to heal that. So my recommendation always is like therapy because I think therapy is great. But one thing you could do is like one logically recognize that that was the barrier to why I was having a hard time losing weight, this old belief system. So I am safe. No one can harm me. I can protect myself. I am strong. I love myself. I want to eat in a way, or I eat in a way that shows my body that my soul loves my body. This body is a gift. This body is divine and it is perfect no matter what weight it is. This body is amazing no matter what weight it is, no matter what size pants it fills, no matter what, whatever it, my body is amazing. So love it where it is right now because it has gotten you through and it has protected you through your entire life. So honor it instead of looking at like, ugh, gross, disgusting. Love it exactly where it is right now. Embrace it where it is. It doesn't mean you're saying, I want to stay this way. It means I'm honoring and I'm going to thank my body for getting me through every part of my life that has been hard. Every part of my life, my body has been there and has got me through. And I am 40 and I am amazing. If you embrace it where it is, it sort of helps energetically. Like it doesn't say I want to stay this way, but it's like, so now I want to honor this body that has been there for me. And I want to treat it with kindness and with love and the respect that it deserves. But also I am safe. No one can harm me. I am okay. And so then you start when you exercise as you're working out, you're thanking your body instead of going, oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this. You're going, oh my God, look what I can do. Like, so yeah, maybe I can't jump. Like this is just an example. I'm not saying you're going to do this type of exercise, but maybe I can't jump up the 20-inch when you do whatever. I can't think of what it is. When you jump up, like there's different size heights. I can't think right now. Maybe I can do the 20-inch, but I can do the 12, and that's pretty amazing. And I'm really proud of myself. I can't do like when I'm doing my exercises with my workout group, I can't hit half the weight like the goals that they have. I can't, but I can do this today. And I'm really excited because I couldn't do that months and months ago. I completed the workout and I'm really excited because I completed the workout. I was out of doing my workouts for the entire week. I was going to go back Friday and something kind of got switched up and I just sat down. I was like, well, apparently I wasn't supposed to do this today because it was a tough workout anyway, but apparently I wasn't supposed to do this. My button's not buttoned. Oh, you don't need to see my armpits. But I did yoga instead. I'll have to fix that. So it's like just relax a little bit and be kinder to yourself and honor where you're at instead of thinking that you're supposed to be somewhere else. Honor where you're at. Show up for yourself when you're doing stuff and don't go, oh, well, I wanted to do this, but like stop being hard on yourself about stuff. Go ahead and post Priya. You're fine. Um, I think that's like a huge barrier for a lot of us. We have this idea of where we're supposed to be at, and so we're not. So then we just beat ourselves up for not being there instead of honoring where we're at. I think that will be a huge, my feeling and my sense is that'll be a huge breakthrough for you to be able to like kind of move forward from it. And don't feel like, well, I was almost, so it's not enough. If it feels that way, then your body internalizes that and holds on to it as if it happened. So honor that too. So how do you start? You just decide to start. So, okay, I'm not going to eat any processed foods anymore because that's not good for me. And that's not what I want to put into my body. What that's going to fuel my body, which also is connected to my soul. Right? So I'm going to eat things that are whole foods. Don't even go like I'm not going to eat like sugar or anything else. Just like I'm going to try and I'm going to start cutting out processed food. So if I'm always eating, like if there's one thing you're always eating, like say, or you're adding sugar to whatever stuff, just like start decreasing it. Going cold turkey on sugar is really hard, by the way. And there's like a physical thing. Decide you're going to start walking every day. And if I can't walk, then I'm going to march around my apartment. Or if I can't do this, like just decide to do something and start. That's it. Like there's not a magic thing that's going to get you through it. It's just deciding and start somewhere. Fruit is not bad. Do not demonize fruit. Fuck that. I love fruit. Fruit can be good for you. It's full of vitamins. It's full of fiber. But you also need to lose weight and be healthy. You also need protein, and so you need your carbohydrates, you need your protein, and you need fat. Fat's not bad. Have healthy fat though. Don't eat like fried foods. Get your fat from avocados or from avocado oil, or just start somewhere and be kind. But you have to have a balance. So you do need protein, because your protein is like, especially if you're trying to you want to tone up and you want muscle, protein is your building blocks of muscle. So you need that. You can't just eat carbs. You burn through those and then you're not building. You might lose weight, but you're not going to build the muscle tone and stuff. But you just decide to start. Yeah. I mean, felt like there's a lot of emotional eating that's kind of subconsciously packing weight on to protect yourself. But logically, you don't need somebody to protect you because you are safe. Okay. And yeah, I mean, I lose weight. I can naturally maintain a weight, no problem. But if I literally have to track it, or I will kind of be like, okay. One of the mantras I do is I change the belief system as when I have a craving, I get satiated. It satiates easily and quickly. So I don't, 'cause sometimes when you have a craving, or I used to be and then now it's I can have just 1 or 2 bites and I'm good to go. All right. Joseph. Oh, hang on. Sorry. May I get a new job? I am a software engineer. Lost job because of office politics. I am fearful of financial situation, money. Okay. So I want to help you. I feel like within 6 weeks you'll have something, but I don't feel like it's your dream job. I just feel like it's something to bring the money in. So, okay. But I also want to shift some of these belief systems because it's not helping you. So change the story. You didn't lose jobs because of office politics. You lost your job because the universe wants you to have a better opportunity. And it may look like things are falling apart, but it's really just, they took it to you. Do you manifest? Because they will go, actually, you sort of did make yourself lose your job because you were manifesting what you wanted in a job, like a salary and a certain thing and a da-da-da-da. And they're like, you weren't going to actually try for that job unless we made you lose your job. You manifested, you want to manage your job, right? And you thought you were going to get your manager job at that one because you weren't specific that you wanted your manager job at that place. And they go, we did this for you because we needed you to lose your job so that you would, so you would apply for other jobs. So you're not fearful. This is all a part of the divine plan, and that's what you need to recognize. This is all a part of the divine plan. Not any manager. But did you put at that place, or did you just say, I want to be a manager, not that company? Okay. So now you're going to go, oh, I'm so grateful that I got fired. I'm so grateful. And yeah, it may look like it was politics, but in reality, it's the universe setting me up to get this management position. And I know this management position is coming. So I'm going to start applying because I know that. And even if the first job, even if the first job that comes along isn't exactly what I want, I'm okay with that because I know that's a part of the plan to get me to the manager job that I know is mine. And it's divinely, it is here for me. The universe has it for me. I believe it's mine. It's mine. So shift your thought process, right? So that's what they're showing me happen, that you actually manifested that for yourself. It's part of the plan. So shift the thought process, go into like positive, because I can think all kinds of things, right? Negative or positive. Let's go to the positive side. When do I see it next? Okay. Sorry, but that's important. That's an important step. So in order to like and I said 6 weeks. 6 weeks. So it doesn't necessarily, maybe you start in 6 weeks and you start the hiring process beforehand. Because I honestly feel like once you start putting your, like shifting this thought process and putting your resumes out, it's like it hits. I feel like I get 2 or 3 opportunity, like 2 or 3 interviews, or 2 or 3 people want to interview me, and everything just hits. But it's literally just a matter of shifting my about this. What's the 12th of April? Was your termination. So it just happened a week ago, more or less. So now it's like, if I can manifest it that quickly, then I can manifest the job into place. So it's all going to happen. Everything's going to happen. So I do feel like I would be, so right. But I got 6 weeks for starting a new job. So it's either I'm hired, like I'm offered the opportunity in 6 weeks, or I start on this in the 6 week prime time period. And it's like, it literally is, I shift my mindset around what this happened, how it happened, why it happened, and everything just sort of falls into place. I do feel like you're pretty good at manifesting things. I just feel like you just need to shift your thought process around this particular situation. Which you didn't get fired, because even though it looks like that on the outside that I got fired because of office politics, I really got fired because that's the universe setting me up to get my manager job. And I know that's coming. So you know what? I'm grateful I got fired, because I'm going to be just fine. Money's coming in and I will be A-okay. And I actually feel like they're going to there's going to be some money coming to you from that job that you didn't expect. So either there's back pay, or there's vacation pay, or there's something, but there's something coming to you from that. You're welcome. Where's Maya? Please update me. That would be lovely. Wendy, Virginia, Ayama, and Maya, you guys are up. Let's get this done. I got to go to the bathroom. I've been here almost 2 hours. You guys can get up and leave. I can't. Let's get it done. Maya, Wendy, Virginia, Ayama, let's go. Let's go. Go ahead. All of you can just type your questions and I'll get to them. You don't have to wait at this point. Just type them and I'll kind of go back and forth with them. I'm not getting anything, but my name is Annalisa. Could you not call me hun? I'm sure you mean it as a term of endearment, but I just don't like it. I'm not getting anything about the next company. I feel like it might not be the exact job, but it might be that you're hired and then moved up to the management thing. I don't know exactly what it is, but it feels like I'm taking it because the money's coming in. No apologies, just correcting. Wendy, there's a guy I'm not interested in at work that won't stop pursuing, even though I don't show any interest. Um, it's interesting to me because I hear people talk about stalking a lot, and I'm like, I don't know. I guess I don't really even think of that. So like, it doesn't happen. Um, I think, especially when I was single, I just assumed nobody was interested. That's what happened. Just kidding. um, uh, is it weird to say that I feel like he actually has like mental deficiencies? Like he feels like he's not the brightest star in the sky. And I feel like he also doesn't really get social cues. So he doesn't realize that you're not interested. Um, you're welcome, Priya Priya. So it feels like, the initial thing I got was you have to talk to somebody in HR. Like it needs to be like kind of feeling like I'm feeling uncomfortable by this. But I also feel like it needs to be directly said to him. Like, I feel like you're pursuing me and I'm not interested in this. I don't date people I work with. I'm not, and just flat out, I don't date people I work with. I'm not interested in a relationship with you. And leave it at that. But I also feel like it should also be mentioned to HR. I don't know that it necessarily is going to go to stalking, but I feel like for your, uh, it would be important for you to make sure that somebody knows. Yeah, Maya, it's okay. Go ahead. So it feels like, like saying directly, like, I don't date people I work with. So it's not like you don't even, it doesn't have to come about like, I'm not into you. So then it's not awkward. It's just, I have a policy of not dating people I work with, period. You can use the saying, don't shit where you eat, whatever it is. I have a policy. I don't. So, and you can even say, and it's sort of making me uncomfortable that you continue to pursue this. So I just letting you know if you could stop that. It's okay to ask somebody to stop doing those things. And it's okay to say, it's making me uncomfortable. That doesn't make you a bad person. And if he acts weird and is like, oh God, what's wrong with you? Then like, be like, I guess there is something wrong with me. Like it's doesn't matter. Like whatever his reaction is, it doesn't matter. You have a right to say that you're making me uncomfortable and please don't pursue me. And that's why I feel like it's really important to say something to HR. Like, um, I like after that happens, say, I'm just letting you know, like he was pursuing me for a really long time. I did make it clear, but if something else comes up, I just sort of want to have it on record that I did talk to you about it. There's a lot of guys who don't have a realistic understanding of women, and there's a lot of guys who watch porn. There's a lot of girls who watch porn. So um, I don't want to demonize that because it's like it is what it is. I don't know. It doesn't have a lot of realistic ideas of what relationships are for sure. But um, I would say my sense is that he doesn't understand social cues a lot, so probably doesn't understand women or how to approach them. But either way, if you're not interested, it's okay to say I'm not interested. I don't date people I work with, and then you're not making it a personal thing about him. It's just a general policy. And also, like, it kind of makes me uncomfortable that you keep doing this. Would you please stop? Because I don't think you're a terrible person. Would you just? It's making me uncomfortable. And maybe he didn't, and it's okay to show him how someone who has respect for themselves and also can be kind, and like it's an empathetic way to approach them, to just say like I don't date people I work with, and it is making me uncomfortable, and I think you could be a really nice guy, but I'm just not really interested in dating somebody I work with. So if you could stop, I would really appreciate it. I literally got spiritual seeker. It's not medical. It's literally just overeating, and you didn't not being aware that you're overeating and not being as active. It's not. It's definitely not a medical issue. It just feels like literally like mindlessly eating, and you're not defeated. So it's like I talked with the other person, like, and even when I said for myself, like if I want to actually lose weight, I can maintain, but if I want to actually lose weight, that I have to like write down. I have to have like keep a record of what I'm eating and everything else. Like there's apps for it, for macro apps, and macros just means fats, proteins, and carbs, a balance of them. Okay, hang on. So Maya, you can go ahead and type your question. Wait, hang on. Okay. Barbara said, sorry, I'm just trying to remember who everybody had read for. Wendy, I read for. Spiritual Seeker is Regina. So Ayama is it. And Maya. Ayama and Maya. Okay. What's your rescue dog's name? So Ayama, what's your rescue doggy's name? And I keep hearing the sound of like they call it a reverse cough or a reverse sneeze. Does a collar trigger it a lot? What does she? You're welcome, Spiritual Seeker. Wait, Maya, where'd your question go? Do you want to change it? Michelle, I'm not taking any new, I've closed the list for tonight because I've been on here for way too long. But you can come back next week and pay for a question, and then 30% goes to charity. Yeah, I just saw your question. You can just leave it, and because I'm answering hers and then I'll answer yours. It's just easier because otherwise there's a lag and then I'm like stuck waiting. So Ayama, what's your doggy's name? Ayama, what's your dog's name? Are you still there? I saw that, Maya. I'll remember it. I just didn't know why. I was like, did you change it or? Okay. Like the feeling I get is that it's not that you're not the right person. It's just like it's going to take a long time. And this may be a dog that's not like a really cuddly, snuggly dog. This just may be a dog that like sort of you share space. I keep feeling like it's a smart dog. So it feels like I could train easily and I would feel okay about that. But I feel like it's just going to take a long time. And then, so I keep seeing my friend who has a rescue dog. She's a nurse I used to work with. And this dog, she's like, well, it's been a whole year and he lets me pet him sometimes. Like it feels like that. Like you're the right person for the dog. But it's just not a dog that's ever going to be really super warm and friendly. It's just like it's had a lot of trauma. And so it just really needs to feel like it has a place that's safe and he's not going to be hurt. Like I don't like it literally feels like to me, this dog would either belong to somebody like you who would be okay that does no like not a lot of like no other pets, kids, things like that, where it would just be like sort of like a or if there is another pet, they're like separate. I don't know. There's like it just feels like um if it went anywhere else, it would either be like a no other pet situation or same kind of situation where they would just sort of like not ever be snuggly and warm. It would be just kind of a dog that exists and you just love it for it being it and understanding that it's a traumatized dog, or this dog would be put down. Like it doesn't feel like it has a lot of options. It's not going to get to go because of the trauma that it went through. So it doesn't feel like, oh, well, it would be better on a farm or it would be better with a family full of kids. It's like this dog was really traumatized. So it's like, it's going to take a long time. I do feel like you'll be able to like pet it and love it, but it doesn't ever feel like it's like a normal dog or like a normal dog. All right, Maya, what do I see coming in for you for love? Okay, so they said get rid of this hopeless feeling that it's never going to happen for you, and like, and I'll say this over and over again, but that's sort of like what keeps it out. May feels promising to me. It feels like the end of May feels important for like kind of having this shift of energy and like kind of more stuff coming in. But it also it's like stop with the like thought process of like, oh, no one's ever gonna fall in love with me, or I'm never gonna be good enough, or I'm never gonna be this enough. Or it's like stop, change your self concept and your self talk, and you'll start to see like everything just starts to open up. And then keep doing that. Even once you meet someone, keep saying that, because it feels like there's a little bit of a fear of abandonment issue. So it's like, if I don't do that, then I'm going to automatically think they're leaving me and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you really have to like keep up the self concept of having a healthy self concept and a healthy view, like through it all. But May feels like the windows opening when the spring comes in. It feels like that's when it happens. They're showing me something about May 15th, and then I feel like about the last week of May. So it may be like you're on a dating app and you kind of like the sparks kind of start there. August also feels important. So maybe you start dating in May and like it's kind of light and casual, and like don't freak out if it's like, don't demand I need to know exactly where it is right away. Cause like you don't. Then it feels like August becomes more significant. So maybe it takes that time to become exclusive, or maybe you get a key to his apartment, like whatever it is, it feels like that's a big step in August. So just chill out, relax, just assume, because we can assume a lot of things. We can assume nobody's ever going to want me, or we can assume like men are coming like every 5 minutes, just like the bus in the city. Like there's a new bus every 5 minutes, right? So it's like, if you think that way, then like either way, you don't necessarily know it's true either way, but why not go with the positive? And then you have been lying to yourself your entire life about not being enough. Why not start lying to yourself about being the most amazing, wonderful, fantastic? Of course, men want to like are falling all over themselves trying to get to me because I am really amazing. Like, why not just go the other way? I mean, really, like that when this woman said that, I was like, no shit, that's so like it's so obvious. Why didn't I think of that? Like it's true. I read that line and I was like, oh, they might be doing that faster than that. Like, sure, men are coming every 5 minutes. Sorry. Gutter, meet my mind. Hello. um, all right. So I am done for this week. This is really crazy long. I had fun. I love you guys. Thank you so much for always supporting me and being here. I really enjoy this and like, getting to like be able to do this stuff for you guys. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Go out and lie to yourself about all the wonderful things, because why not? Sophie. Okay. But did you hear my thing I said about Sophie? that it's that, so sort of that feeling that she might just be not the warm and cuddly dog. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I don't know. Manifest the most amazing life this week. We'll talk to you all soon. KK, as always, thank you, thank you. This has been a long one. We'll see you next week. If you want a private reading, myspiritualfriend.com. I'm also on Instagram. Find me. Bye.